Anna Alexandrovna Yegorova's life began in circumstances that appeared destined to shatter hopes. Anna was born on September 23, 1916, in the small village of Vodolvo in the Russian Empire's Ter district. She grew up in poverty. Her family lived off the land, scraping by in terrible conditions. Only 7 of the 15 children lived beyond infancy, reflecting the hardships endured by many peasant families at the time. Her father, Alexander Yegorov, was a soldier who served in the terrible battlefields of World War I and the Russian Civil War. Although he survived the battles, the pressure took a toll on his physical and emotional health. When Anna was 9 years old, she lost him, leaving an unforgettable imprint on her youth. Despite, or perhaps because of suffering, Anna developed a tenacity that distinguished her. Anna's childhood may have been poor, but her spirit was restless, and her goals were lofty. When she arrived in Moscow as a young lady, she worked on construction sites, helping to create the city's metro system. On the surface, she looked like any other laborer, but beyond that appearance, she was keeping a secret. After a long day of backbreaking work, she would go to an aviation club to train. Her drive quickly drew her attention, but it wasn't just about flying. For Anna, the sky represented freedom, an opportunity to climb above the limitations of her life. She was attracted by more than just the physics of flying. She wanted to master it, to defy the limits imposed on her as a young woman from a rural village. Even as her hands developed calluses from intense labor, her heart soared with each session in the cockpit. If there was one word that described Anna's personality, it was determination. By 1938, her rising skill as a pilot had brought her to the elite Ulanov's flight school, which was a significant step towards realizing her aspirations. However, catastrophe struck in unexpected ways. Her brother was detained during Stalin's purges and labeled an enemy of the people. That designation had a negative impact on Anna's future as well as his. The Soviet authorities ejected her from the flight school, crushing her dreams in an instant. For most people, such a hit may have been the end of the narrative, but Anna was not like most folks. She returned to Smolensk, a city distant from the goals she'd once pursued, after losing her employment and suffering under the shame of her brother's claimed misdeeds. She worked modestly as a bookkeeper's assistant at a weaving factory. Surprisingly, at this terrible point, a new chance arose. She became a tutor at the factory's aviation club, passing on her knowledge of flying to others. Her decision to continue involvement with aviation was essential. This work eventually led to her recommendation for admission to the Kherson Aviation School, a dangerous decision given her previous expulsion. However, Anna's talent and perseverance spoke louder than her political affiliations. She graduated in 1939 and quickly became a flight instructor. Teaching others required her to internalize every aspect of flying, which she would later use in life or death situations. Anna's passion never wavered. Her peers regarded her as a flight teacher, but they had no idea what would happen next. The skies she trained others to conquer will soon become a battlefield, with Anna taking front stage. In 1941, the world around Anna was on fire. Nazi Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union, known as Operation Barbarossa, took the nation off guard. Civilian life, as Anna knew it, vanished instantly, replaced by mobilization and turmoil. Anna did not wait for history to pass her by. She volunteered to serve in the Red Army Air Force, putting all she had learned into practice. Her initial assignment was with the 130th Air Liaison Squadron, flying the Polikarpov PO-2. Some may have thought the PO-2 was a comedy aircraft. It was not armored, was not particularly quick, and was constructed of wood and canvas, hardly a combat machine. However, in Anna's hands, the small biplane proved a lifeline for her companions. She utilized it to transport supplies, deliver reconnaissance reports, and establish a communication link between the front lines and Soviet leadership. These missions were anything but safe. She flew low to avoid discovery and navigated through dangerous skies packed with enemy fire. Due to the PO-2's lack of defensive capability, every operation was a gamble. Anna's skill and unwavering will were the only things keeping her alive. By the end of 1942, she had completed an astonishing 236 missions, each one a monument to her bravery. Her valor was recognized, and she received the Order of the Red Banner, a valuable military honor. But for Anna, this was just the beginning. She was not content with simply supporting the front lines. She wanted to fight, and in 1943, her request was approved. She was reassigned to the 805th Attack Aviation Regiment, where she learned to fly the Ilyushin IL-2, a completely different aircraft than the PO-2. The IL-2 was known as the flying tank for a reason. It was tough, heavily armed, and intended to deal maximum damage to enemy ground forces. For Anna, this machine became a weapon, a tool she used with precision and power. She flew bombing and ground attack sorties in the most dangerous battle zones, including the Taman Peninsula, Crimea, and the renowned skies over Poland. Anna had progressed from flying flimsy biplanes to commanding one of the most formidable aircraft of the war, and she accomplished it while breaking barriers in a male-dominated regiment. Anna established herself as one of the Soviet Union's most crucial pilots thanks to her unrivaled competence and fearless approach. The same hands that formerly tiled tube stations now held the controls of a machine that turned the tide of warfare. Every flight for Anna was more than simply a duty. It was a statement about what she and other young women could accomplish. On August 22, 1944, Anna set out on a mission that nearly lost her life. Her IL-2 was shot down by German anti-aircraft fire as she led an attack group over the Magna-Zu bridgehead near Warsaw. The situation was dire. Anna's gunner had been killed. The plane was on fire and control was quickly slipping away. Anna maintained incredible calmness. Her grasping hands struggled with the controls as the plane spiraled out of control. With hardly seconds to spare, she bailed out of the flaming airplane, but her parachute was only partially deployed. She sustained serious burns, shattered bones, and internal injuries after colliding with the earth. When she awoke, she found herself surrounded by German soldiers rather than her colleagues. Back at her unit, Anna was assumed to have been killed in action. Unknown to them, she was alive in a German POW camp. Even there, her story was not over. Despite agonizing torture, she survived imprisonment until Soviet forces freed her in early 1945. Her persistence and survival were largely due to her remarkable mental power and the care she provided for her fellow captives. Among them was Dr. Georgy Sinyakov, a Soviet doctor detained by the Germans. He treated her injuries with the resources he had, allowing her to endure the excruciating conditions. Anna later recognized this traumatic period in her life with giving her even more perseverance in the face of unbelievable difficulties. Ironically, Anna's emancipation resulted in fresh challenges. She was accused of potential treachery upon her release, as were all Soviet prisoners of war. Anna was interrogated by Soviet authorities for 11 days straight, and she had to battle to show her devotion. Her comrades' statements exonerated her of suspicion. Nevertheless, the conflict had taken its toll, both physically and mentally. Anna was dismissed from the military and went back to regular life. For years, her contributions went unacknowledged. It wasn't until 1965, 2 decades after the war, that Anna earned the proper respect. She was given the title of Hero of the Soviet Union, the highest honor a Soviet citizen could get. This belated recognition did not erase the years she spent being shunned by the system she had so vehemently defended. But Anna remained steadfast, never letting bitterness cloud her judgment. Instead, she used her newfound platform to highlight the sacrifices made by numerous Soviet airwomen during the war, ensuring their legacies did not slip into obscurity. Anna Yegorova enjoyed a long and fulfilling life, passing away in 2009 at the age of 93. Her narrative, while frequently overshadowed, is nevertheless a testimony of tenacity, fortitude, and determination. Across 277 combat sorties, she demonstrated not just her piloting ability, but also her unwavering spirit. She overcame every obstacle that stood in her path, including gender, war, injury, and injustice. Anna's humility was probably one of her most distinguishing characteristics. She never sought fame. She only wanted to serve and protect her country. For those who knew her, Anna was a living reminder that strength is more than just accomplishments in the sky. It's also about internal conflicts. Her endurance made her a symbol not only of Soviet aviation, but also of women's potential in male-dominated sectors. Even decades after the war, her talks and reliving of combat experiences inspired future generations to pursue their dreams with determination and courage. Her spirit crossed borders, touching many who admired her narrative from afar, ensuring that Anna Yegorova's legacy would live on long after her final flight. Anna Yegorova's life reminds us of an undeniable truth. Heroes come in all forms. If you found her story as inspiring as we have, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more incredible tales from aviation history. Until next time, keep your head in the clouds and your feet firmly grounded in the passion for flight.